Today, Jules Eats Cats becomes Jules Drinks Blood because Minecraft is overrun by vampires. Will I be able to achieve my goal and become the most powerful vampire ever and rule the world? Or will I be doomed to live out my immortal days in a hole, fearing the wrath of the vampire hunters? Let's be honest, it's probably the latter. But let's find out together in this 100 days of Minecraft vampirism. I spawned in right by a vampire hunter's campsite. That's cool, man. I also saw a village right in the distance, so I was like, let's go. On the way there, I got some food from the sheep at the same time as getting wool for my bed, picked up some essential wood. I crafted a bed using a vampire hunter's crafting table. I'm so cheeky. And went to investigate the village. Then I found a vampire hunter trainer's house, so I found fangs so I could jump myself and become a vampire eventually when I was ready. Now that I had a bed and a crafting table, I felt basically invincible, so I went exploring to get more basic resources like coal. I found an almost complete nether portal, which I thought I was going to use later, so I blocked off all the lava so that I could maybe settle nearby. Spent the rest of the day just getting as much coal as I could for torches so that I could be safe in my area. Then it started to get dark, and I was still human, so I was scared. I had to go to sleep. Day 2, I got some cobble for some stone tools so that my mining wouldn't be as painful and so that I could get iron and stuff like that. Spent day 2 just surviving as a human, which meant I needed torches, meat, and wood. Morning of day 3, I spent chopping more wood. I knew I was going to need a lot of it for sticks if I was going to go in a cave for a long period of time. I prepared some more pork chop for my caving trip, and I stacked myself full with torches and wood. Strategically picked up my furnace and went on my way. And why I didn't loot those hay bales for bread, I don't know. You tell me. I committed more murder on the way to the cave. I chose the direction going towards the biggest sand patch. I knew I needed glass for glass bottles to collect blood when I became a vampire. Found my first bit of iron. I was excited. I kept going and I found that coincidentally the sand was nearby the village that I found on the first day. So I was like, yay, let's do this. While collecting my sand, I got killed by a skeleton. But I spawned right at the village because I saved my spawn point there like a couple days ago. So whoop, win for me. Ignoring that I just lost all my levels, I was ready. I decided to now jab myself with the vampire fangs and become the mistress of darkness. Outfit change, of course. Look at me, Vampire Jules. We are going to soon turn into a nocturnal being, so I'm going to start counting nights as days. The process of turning was going to take 3 in-game days, so I still had some time to prepare. I made myself a coffin, even though I couldn't use it yet. Finally collected the sand for the bottles without getting rudely disturbed by mobs. I spent the rest of the day in the cave mining for resources. I placed down a furnace and I smelted some of my iron. Then I made my first iron pickaxe and I was happy because that meant that I was finally able to mine some diamond. After mining for a bit, I decided to place another furnace and smelt some of my sand so that I could make the glass bottles because I was going to need them really soon. And when the end of day 4 came, I finally turned into a vampire. The poison effect was gone. And I was now a blood-sucking nocturnal being. But turns out, being a vampire has its ups and downs. Sun is my enemy. Water weakens me. Food no longer brings me sustenance. And blood is my new best friend. So now I had to get back to the surface to collect some of that sweet blood. Oops. Wrong button. I was okay because it was dark. And look at that. First blood. I was just walking around, exploring and sucking some blood. And that took me to a new cave. So I went down there and I spent the rest of the day there. So it literally turned into day 6 as I was just mining for iron and coal. At sunrise on day 6, I got blown up by a creeper in the cave because they're still not scared of me. I spawned back at the village in daytime with an iron golem after me. And the sunshine almost out to kill me, but it was still sunrise, so it was okay. I managed to get to a house, and I was alright. What the flip was I gonna do now? I didn't have my coffin on me. I decided the best course of action was to dig myself a little hole and wait it out. But, of course, I got a little bit bored after just a little while. So I was trying to be a little bit crafty here. I ran out of the house and I tried to suck on the villager, but the golem was after me and the sun was killing me, so I had to run back inside. Okay, mission aborted. I got a little bit of wood from the floor just in case. I don't know why. And I gave it another shot. This time I went for a cow because I thought maybe the golem won't go after me as bad if I go for a cow. I managed to fill up a whole half a drop of blood from all that. That's crazy. But you know what? It was worth it. I made it to another house. I could still see the golem there trying to eye me up through the window. So I was trying to figure out the best, safest course of action. And he was just coming at me. And then, boom! He hit me through the wall. Literally. What the flipper, man? I was trapped. So I ran back out again, confidently. And then ended up back in the same house I was in before. What a fail. One more attempt at freedom and sustenance. I was running for it and I ended up in a house with a villager. So that was lucky. I almost died though. The sun was like bad on me this time. I was in the sun for too long. This was my first villager I could feed on and he wasn't even escaping. So I was really happy that I could heal up. I ran out of that house and decided to go for the mountains and I ran straight into the iron golem. Oh my days. However, I managed to swerve around him, and it was all right. I was in the shadow of the trees, so I was safe. When the sun effect stopped, I ran again, and I finally made it to the mountains, where I found myself a little hidey hole where I could wait out the day. Luckily for me, it was almost sunset and turning into day 7. On day 7, I decided to trek back to that nether portal I found on day 1. That's where I was gonna build my starter dirt hut. I tried to walk back there, but there were so many mobs everywhere. It literally took me not 1, not 2, but 4 nights and however many deaths.
You are not prepared.
End of day 11, I finally got to the nether portal and I made a hole in the ground to put my chest in. I spent the rest of the day, when I couldn't go out, making my little house into a home by adding stairs and furnaces, etc. and then putting my coffin down, and I was done for the day. Day 12, I needed more blood, so I shanked some cows and lit up the area so that mobs would leave me alone for good. Spent the rest of the day 12 finishing and expanding a hole a little bit and making more glass bottles for blood. Day 13. More mining, mob killing, and blood sucking. Night quickly went by as I mined, so I decided to keep going through the day as I was kind of stranded, but then at sunset, finally started making my way home. But as soon as night set on day 14, Skellies decided to do me a favor and kill me, so I spawned back home anyway, but without any of my stuff. On day 14, I had the predicament of getting my stuff back, so I trekked. I got my stuff back and I made my way into a new direction while filling up my glass bottles full of blood to feed on later in my adventure. While wandering, I found a village owned by vampire hunters. They had these cute little fireplace areas which had armor stands with full iron armor, so of course I took ownership of that. And then I found this cool village totem beacon thing. Of course I had to click on it. How could I not? This started a raid, but I decided to put on my bigger pants and just take it on. So the whole village capturing fiasco took me all the way until day 23, and it was super frustrating, but it was partially because you can never find the last raid dude person, okay? It's like a known Minecraft issue. The last dude of the raid is always missing in a cave somewhere or just stuck somewhere and you can never find him. I kept running out of blood while killing the vampire hunters, so I kept having to wander off to get some mobs because none of them seemed to spawn around here. This caused me to go too far away from the totem, which reset the entire raid every time. And it happened so many times, over and over and over and over again. Naturally, I got frustrated, so I got some wood, died to a skeleton in the process, and then the end of day 19, I built a cow pen so I could get blood on the go and it wouldn't be an issue anymore. A little bit into day 20, my cow pen was finally complete and ready to fill up with step animals, so my village capture would be super efficient and I wouldn't have to keep trekking and messing up my raid. I had to go so far just to find one sheep and a few cows to breed up myself. It was so annoying. But at the end of day 22, I had enough of them in there to begin my breeding and blood-sucking process. Spent the rest of the day mining in my little ravine mine nearby this little farm because I knew I needed more iron for leveling later on to build the bigger altar for past level 5. So we're getting ready, we're getting prepared, and we're getting loot. Also equipping our inventory with some more glass bottles, as we're going to need them to fill up with blood if we want to do any more dangerous missions like this. The beginning of day 23 I spent smelting all my stuff, and then I decided to take on the final attempt at the raid. Can I do it? Can I stay in the vicinity of the totem? We will see. During the raid, I unfortunately got trapped in my own house to the point where I couldn't get out, and then I got killed. Lol. Sabotage. I honestly had no idea that vampire hunters can open doors. I mean, yes, they are human beings. They have intelligence, but villagers are meant to be the same, and they don't open doors, so where's the logic? I don't know. Then, while I was fighting more vampire hunters, I wasn't used to the weird swinging thing the sword gives you in Java, so I hit some vampire pals of mine, and then they started ganging up on me as well. So I was a massive poontang show altogether, and I died to my own comrades. Of course, I got resurrected very close by in my coffin, so I ran over and grabbed my stuff. I slept through the day. I ran over to my little cow farm to get a little bit more blood, and then I killed the last of the vampire hunters remaining in the village. This completed the raid on day 24, and I was so happy. I raided my first village. It was now my home, my ends. You know what I'm saying? I considered this raid very successful because I got one vampire book and a few human hearts, which I know I will need 5 of to level up to level 6. But first, I need to craft an altar of inspiration and get a ton of blood to fill it up with. This is how you level up from vampire level 1 to 5. After that, you need to craft a new altar and a structure around it, but we'll get to that later. The last ingredient I need is pure blood from a high-level vampire that you can only find in a vampire forest, and it's called a vampire baron. They drop pure blood level 1 to 5 depending on what you need. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we need to focus on filling up the altar of inspiration to the tippy top with blood. Day 25, I was a little bit fed up with the sun, so I downloaded a mod called Vampires Need Umbrellas, which let me craft an umbrella from an iron stick thingy mabobby and some wool carpets, and I can make it any color I wanted, but obviously I only had white and I didn't bother because I didn't want to waste time. So I made myself a trusty umbrella so I can conduct my vampire business during the day. I placed the altar down. Naturally, I spent the rest of the day 25 getting blood so that I could become more powerful by leveling up and get special abilities. I was waiting for my bat ability so I can turn into a bat and fly everywhere. You can also clearly see that the village is slowly turning into dark soil, but it's not going to be any more than this. It's just random splodges of it. The next day I just spent blood gathering and vampire hunter killing. Then I returned home and I slept through the day. Now I could finally level up because it was night and because I had enough blood, so I couldn't wait. I wanted my bat power so bad. Let's go. I headed straight for the skill screen, and the first thing I was able to unlock was night vision, unfortunately. But that was also OP in itself, because no more torches in caves. I only needed them now in case I wanted to keep villagers or myself safe. I finally got enough blood to fill up the altar again, but it wouldn't let me level up. So I'm guessing I haven't sucked enough blood or something. So I decided to go down to the cave to mine for resources and diamonds. I mainly focused on getting iron and gold because that's what I needed to level up the altar when it came to it. Now, hello, Prince Sin. After ages and ages and ages mining at Y11, I finally got my first 3 diamonds! Can you believe it? 3 in one go the first time, so I can literally make a pickaxe straight away. I was overjoyed. I realized that the cave has spawn spots of higher level vampires, so of course I used that opportunity to kill them and get some vampire books while I had the chance. And then I managed to find some more diamonds! However, they were kind of difficult to acquire because of all the lava, but I managed to get them without losing any. I was now a young and rich vampire, so I headed back to the base. I refilled all my blood bottles. End of day 31, I dropped all my stuff off, including my 7 diamonds, which I split up. I took 3 for a pickaxe, but I didn't craft it straight away. I don't know why. And I also waited for the rest of my iron and stuff to smelt. I also finally placed down my blood container. which I could fill up with blood for later use. Beginning of day 32, I realized I needed more furnaces because I couldn't wait this long. I crafted those, and then I made some space in my house to place them and smelt all my iron and gold. The altar, even though it was full of blood, it still wouldn't let me level up. I don't know what's going on, man. And then, out of nowhere, I got raided by blimmin' hunters again. But to be honest, all my vampire buddies kind of did all the work for me this time. So I was glad because it was basically over before I even got there. I only had to kill one, which was lucky because I was almost out of blood and my gear was almost broken. So I just refilled my bottles till sunrise, and I was still waiting for my ores to finish smelting. So yeah. Before I went to sleep, I crafted some stone bricks because I smelted a little bit of cobblestone. The stone bricks were going to be used for the stone pillars, which I also crafted. I didn't think I had enough though. But you're meant to fill them with iron or gold to level up, and they're meant to be put around the altar in a certain pattern so that you can level up. Okay. I thought maybe I already need them. That's why maybe it's not letting me level up. But that's not what the tutorial said. Anyway, I did it anyway. I put them down. And let's see, I put the iron pillar tops on top of each pillar, and then like magic, my altar worked again, and I leveled up, and I got the power of regeneration, and I got extra hearts. Now I needed obsidian for the next level altar, and the blood purifier if I wanted to make a vampire sword. Another key ingredient was quartz from the nether, because that's what you needed to make a blood sieve, to complete the blood grinder that I'm going to show you later. So I needed more and more obsidian for the nether portal. Spent most of day 34 mining the obsidian as I needed quite a bit. I crafted my blood pedestal that I didn't know how to use yet. I made my blood grinder that was so expensive, man. It required a whole diamond. Damn. But I couldn't use it yet because I needed the blood sieve as well. So I had to head to the nether to get some quartz. Day 35, I started building my nether portal. But then I paused because I realized I wanted to make an enchanting table and make sure I have enough obsidian for that. So I did that first. I managed to enchant efficiency 2 on my diamond pick, so I felt blessed as heck. I also had enough levels to get 2 protection 1 books and 1 sharpness 1. So not too bad for the beginning. I harvested some wheat to breed my cows. Then I sucked blood for ages and I filled up the altar again, but it wouldn't let me level up again for some reason. Again. And then I finished building my nether portal and I slept in my coffin. Day 36, I prepared some gold gear for the nether. I had my flint and steel at the ready and I set my house on fire on the way out because I was trying to close the door. Lol, GG's. I lit my portal and went into the nether, but I spawned into a basalt delta biome, so I was like, I ain't gonna explore this shit. So I grabbed some nearby quartz and I escaped with my life. I finally had quartz blocks so I could create my blood sieve, so my blood grinder was now complete, so I could use all the raw meat that I had to grind it up into blood so I could actually use it. It was a truly special day because I could finally level up to level 4 and unlock bat power. I could now fly around anywhere I wanted, whenever I wanted, without beating the dragon. So, I literally just messed around as a bat until sunrise. Now, my altar was no good for me anymore. The altar of inspiration is only up until level 4. After that, you need the altar of infusion, which I already crafted. So I just switched those around. Now to level up, I needed pure blood from higher level vampires in the vampire forest. I needed human hearts and vampire books. So it was a lot longer and more convoluted process. So from day 37 to 39, I had to fly around looking for a vampire forest because that was going to be one of the key things I need at the moment. On my adventure, I even raided a village and I took it over, of course. Some villagers into vampires and killed a couple. Day 40, I got home just to drop some stuff off and just in time because the village was actually raided by vampire hunters, so I protected my home. I was gonna spend the day flying until I found a vampire forest nearby, but I just decided to waste loads of time getting hearts to trade with a vampire villager. Lol. Spent a day fighting hunters. After having enough hearts, I made my way back to the village and I did what I said I was not gonna do. I wasted my human hearts just to get pure blood level 1. But you know, desperate times Desperate measures. Of course, I killed some hunters as well, just to make up for the hearts that I spent on this trade. I say trade, I got robbed. I flew home to use the pure blood that I acquired to level up. When I got there, another hunter raid on my ends, man. What the heck? But it was easy this time, so I finished it before sunrise. Whole day 45, I literally just collected blood. And then, finally, I had pure blood, 5 human hearts, and a vampire book, which meant that I could level up to level 5. My altar of infusion was in use for the first time. Now, being vampire level 5 means that I can now pick a skill branch that I want to go down. And I don't know what happens when I complete a skill branch. I don't know if you get to unlock the other ones or if that's it, but I guess we'll find out. I also wanted to be able to freeze peeps, so there's that. I chose to unlock Vampire Rage because I thought that would help me in combat, so why not? Let's go for it. Days 47 to 49, I just focused on getting wood and expanding the house to make space for my enchanting setup so that I could just enchant things inside the house and be safe at all times. By the end of it all, it was looking pretty great actually. I wanted a varied stone texture and I wanted it to go with the original design of the village. But I still didn't think to make space for my coffin. Lol. I mined the whole day 50 and then I set up furnaces in a new location near the mine. I got 9 diamonds, and lots of ores. I waited for my stuff to smelt and then I made a diamond axe from my resources that I gathered recently. And then I wanted to make some armor, but I didn't have enough, so I just left the remaining. While everything smelted, I killed some skellies or arrows to pass the time. And then I found a bunch of horses, so I decided to make my first vampire horse. On my second try it worked, but then it immediately turned into daytime and it died to sun damage, even though I was sitting on it with my umbrella on. And yeah, apparently that wasn't enough to save its life. I returned to my furnaces and I slept through the day. I was grieving my horse, but I got a lot of resources, so at least there was that. I turned my iron into blocks for the altar and then I flew home to find my village attacked by hunters again. I was kinda in a pickle because my iron enchanted armor was almost dead and I did not want to lose my levels. But I managed to win the raid as always, so that's fine, and I did not die this time. And I realized I almost had 30 levels, so I needed bookshelves ASAP so that I could use them and not lose them, you know what I mean? So I went and planted some sugarcane nearby. Can't be planted on vampire soil, make a note. Then I replaced my stone brick pillars with iron pillars so that I could basically get more structure points for the next ritual. And I got some gold blocks because next I would have to replace those iron blocks with gold blocks. But I had nowhere near enough. Then I fed myself with the container, the blood container. That thing is so good. Theoretically, I could level up again, but I decided to just refill my blood supply, get some wood, and just chill. And then my village got attacked by hunters again. What the heck? I'm not asking for this, man. This raid was, lol, a piece of cake, kind of. It didn't go as smooth as I thought, but I mean, I still did it. It would have been a lot quicker if it wasn't for the last dude that was lost in a cave, as always. But I found him and I kicked his butt. Sadly, my enchanted iron pants did not make it through this raid. However, I had a lot of levels, so I had to focus on getting some bookshelves. This meant adventuring. Since I didn't plan on fighting the dragon anytime soon, I downloaded a backpack mod, so I made myself one so that I could have more inventory, because shulkers were not an option. And so I was finally adventuring around. I found a heavily populated village that I thought looked really promising, so I made a note, maybe I would come back here later. I flew until I found my first vampire forest, and it was attached to a village. So it's like I had villagers, I had food, and I had vampire barons that I could kill for pure blood now. But it was so far away from my base, damn man. I picked up some bloodstained vampire wood while I was here for building because I thought it looked really cool. I walked into the vampire forest and then decided to fly it a little bit further in so I could find the barons, and I set my spawn point nearby so that if I died I had an easy way out. I fought my first vampire baron, but it was a baron level 2, so wrong level, dude, wrong level, my bad. I got downed pretty quick. let's just say I gave that up for now. At this village, there was also a vampire hunter trainer's house, which had bookshelves in it. So I decided to just make a hole in his house and gently, sneakily rob him of his bookshelves, because I was in need of them for my enchanting setup. Spent the rest of day 56 mining, and I got some diamonds. I even got some vampire books from a higher level vampire. When I felt like I had enough resources, I went to sleep to skip to nighttime, and I left the ravine the beginning of day 57. Back at the human village, I created a lectern so that I could maybe make a mending villager. And then I got poontanged by an iron golem because I wasn't paying attention. I spent all the way until day 62 trading with the villagers for emeralds with things like sticks, coal, iron, wheat, carrots, potatoes. I wanted to have a proper trading fort in this village. Of course, it proved to be a massive struggle to get a mending villager because I kept getting all the other villagers. Well, librarian villagers, you know what I mean. Since this was going to be my trading village, I wanted to keep them very safe, but I wanted it to be easy to trade, so I wanted to build a little fort out of random blocks just to keep them all in one big area. Then I flew to the vampire village because I decided that I'm going to rob every village I know of their bookshelves because I needed them, man. I really did. So let's go and be a little thief and steal all the bookshelves we can find. I returned to my main trading village and I was really fed up of having to go from house to house to trade with all the guys. It was so annoying. I'm gonna have to do something about that. But I was happy because I got loads of emeralds since obviously I mined for loads of resources. So I was balling in emeralds again. Maybe I could get all the books I need this time. Since I had so many emeralds, I thought of going back to the vampire village. Maybe I could find a vampire guy who trades human hearts. Maybe. Because I was so bored of having to kill so many vampire hunters, man. You have to wait for them to spawn and it takes ages. I was not that lucky. So I killed some hunters for hearts until it was almost sunrise again, so I flew back to the vampire village and I went to sleep. Day 64, I went back to fighting hunters for hearts, and then I got poontanged by Paul the Hunter. Luckily, I put my coffin nearby, so it was okay. I retrieved all my loot, I flew home, refilled my blood supply, repaired my diamond axe, which I used as a sword right now, and then I spent the whole day 66 getting revenge on the hunters for my death. But then I got downed by a spider and then killed by a hunter. So yeah, I lost all my levels again. Day 67, I started transporting my villagers to the fort. However, I kept getting killed by the iron golem over and over again. I downloaded a mod that made villagers follow me if I was holding an emerald. So that helped me a lot. Out of nowhere, I got shanked, man. Look at him. Look at him mocking me. And when I spawned back, I didn't have my umbrella or a roof. So, of course, I died to sun damage. The villagers have spawned a new iron golem inside the fort. So I literally couldn't get in. I had to kill him with arrows and then move on. I couldn't let this golem spawning thing happen again, so I had to make a roof. I don't even know if you can call this a roof. This is an atrocity. I am ashamed. You know that I like building, so yeah, this is horrible. But I mean, I was just trying to save time. Then I kept trying to get a mending villager for what felt like forever. In the process, I got a power 4 villager for my bow and a fortune 3 villager, so getting diamonds is going to be so much more efficient. And then after ages of trying, I got a looting 3 villager, and now all I needed was mending. And then while trading, the iron golem outside of the fort killed me again. Made an anvil so I can enchant my items. Already had efficiency 2 on my pickaxe, and now I had fortune 3 as well. Days 69 to 70 I spent farming and mining for coal and iron so that I could trade with villagers for emeralds and get more enchanted books so that I could be OP. Finally had enough XP to enchant my bow. I finally had enough emeralds to buy the looting 3 books, so I put it on my axe. And I found another library in another village that I totally robbed of all its bookshelves and lectern. Day 71 I spent flying back to home base because I haven't been there in a while. I finally made a diamond sword and enchanted it, and I uncovered a new enchantment called Vampire Slayer 2. So I just assumed it would help me kill vampire barons easier. I had to go for it. Day 72 I tried to level up again, but I couldn't because the structure of my altar was wrong, so I had to add more pillars and make them a little bit higher. Then it finally let me level up, and I unlocked the blood-sucking skill that makes you stop before it's too late, basically, which is kind of useless. I went back down to my mine, and I mined all the way until the end of day 73. I got so much loot, so much. When I came back out the hole, there was a raid on my end again. I couldn't believe it. There were so many raids. But it was easy. Day 74. Need more human hearts. Let's go. End of day 74, I went back to the mine and I decided to start strip mining for diamonds. I only strip mined for a little bit, but thanks to Fortune 3, I had 12 diamonds already, so I decided to leave the mine with that. I was happy. When I got to my base, I repaired my pickaxe because it was hurt. I made myself a diamond chestplate and booties, but I only had enough levels to enchant the chestplate with protection 1 and the booties with feather falling 1. Pathetic. Began day 76. Refilling my blood supply, and then I flew to the village to trade some of the iron and coal I got for some emerald. I fought a mysterious skelly at sunrise that was carrying a backpack, and it was an iron backpack, and it had so much more space than my leather one. I didn't even know you could make those. So now I have like double inventory space. So I flew back to the trading village, and then I bone mealed loads of wheat for trading. I needed emeralds bad. So I traded all my wheat, coal, and iron, and paper. I got over a stack of emeralds, and my Silk Touch book, finally. After ages and ages of placing and breaking the lectern, I finally got a mending villager, and I was so happy, so I spent the rest of the day trading for more emeralds so that I could afford the mending book. Because I only had enough for one, and I needed multiple, I wanted mending on everything. While messing with the villagers, it turned into night, so I was free to fly around again. But I chose to stay and get more wheat. Also did some inventory. I traded for tons more emeralds. I was balling. I moved my toolsmith villager and my Fletcher villager from the house to my trading fort for easier trading, so I wouldn't have to track around all the time. Then I finally had enough for another mending book, and then I moved one more villager before I got attacked by a horde of zombies. I made it out alive, but then a witch spawned right in my trading fort. So yeah, smooth start to day 79. She spawned right in the corner and she threw her potion at all my villagers and I almost died. But I managed to salvage the situation. And then I realized I didn't have enough emeralds for Fortune 3. So I knew I had to farm some sugarcane and expand the wheat farm a lot. I also tried to multiply my villagers by breeding them, but I totally forgot how you breed them on Java, so I only had bread. Obviously it failed. I kept attempting to get more useful villagers throughout the day. I got efficiency 5 villager, which I had to lock down using bare emeralds just to trade for a bookshelf because I didn't have enough for the efficiency itself. Peak. I had enough levels, so I put mending on my pickaxe. Finally, and I put mending on my sword. So now all my best tools were mendable. I left Silk Touch in the chest for later when I had a spare diamond pickaxe. And then I flew to the vampire forest to do a little bit more slaying. I attacked Baron level 2 with arrows from a tree, and it was all well and good until he attacked me with his vamp magic. And then I couldn't hit him no more because he was under the tree. So I mistakenly yeeted myself off of the tree before even healing up, like totally. And then, oh my god, it was a shambles. I did try to fight. I did try to escape. I tried to persevere. Like, what? Like, what even? Almost instant death. But when I resurrected with my whole 3 hearts, I somehow dominated and got my pure blood level 2. Whoop. So I was like, let's heal up and go back to the village. Casually nick a few hay bales. Then I walked with my umbrella back to my trading fort because I wasn't that far and I couldn't fly because it was daytime. On the way, I refilled my blood supply and I killed a few hunters. When I arrived at the trading village, I was accompanied by music disc track, like playing randomly in the background, but only in certain areas. So I just assumed it must be an Easter egg or something. So I began looking for it everywhere and I couldn't find anything on the surface. So I started looking for a cave nearby where maybe that thing could be. It turned out to be another skelly with a backpack, but I didn't have the music feature last time, so I was confused. But I was happy, and then he didn't drop anything, so the happiness was erased immediately. Spent the rest of the day trading the hay that I got from my hay bales that I stole from the village. Day 18, nightfall, started off farming. Then I made my way to a village that was being raided by vampire hunters, and I won the raid, and I got great loot, although I got a bit cocky. And as sunrise came, I fought some random vampire hunters at their campsite. Surprisingly, my umbrella broke and I died to sunlight damage and the hunters as well. And I broke my coffin earlier, so I spawned all the way back at the beginning where I started off originally. After waiting in a hole for nightfall, I spent days 81 to 82 getting back to my dead body and living my best bat life. Killed some hunters on the way to replenish my levels. Sunrise of day 82, I finally got home and I tried to level up, but the altar wouldn't let me. And this is totally on me, okay? I had blood, pure blood, level 2, not level 1. So I went ahead of myself, totally my fault. Did some inventory and smelted some of the ores that I gathered earlier. Then I went to sleep. Day 83, I made my diamond pants and helmet, but I could only enchant my new pants with Unbreaking 1 because I was level poor, as always, because I always die. So I spent the rest of the day, well, the night, trekking towards the vampire forest while killing vampire hunters as I felt protected now because I had full diamond armor. If I remembered to put my helmet on, that is. Then I decided to take a cute little boat trip at sunrise with my umbrella. So kawaii. Wow! Then it took me the rest of the day to get to the village near the vampire forest. I came here for a Baron level 2, but I decided to kill a Baron level 1 as a warm-up and for cape purposes, because you need it to make a cape or vampire cloak. This went okay because I started off tactically in a tree, of course, and then I beat his ass. And then I stupidly took on Baron level 2 before eating my blood to the fullest. And oh my god, he beat my ass with his little vampire minions and then he killed me. Yeah, but now, because I'm vampire level 6, I have the ability to resurrect. So I don't lose all my levels the first time that I die. If I manage to wiggle out of it, that is. Which in this case, I luckily did, so I escaped with all my levels. And got my pure blood, and I flew home to level up. I got home, I used my 10 human hearts, my vampire book, and my level 2 pure blood to level up. And I unlocked the finisher skill, which was really useful. It kills enemies quicker when they are lower health already. So that's nice. I made myself a vampire cloak after I went killing some squid so that I could dye some wool black, because I needed black and red wool to make a red cloak for some reason. That's weird. I don't know why. Day 85! I went on a straight up rampage to a triple vampire hunter spawner. Quickly before sun came up, I flew all the way to the vampire village. I refilled my blood supply. Went to the Vampire Barons area for Pure Blood 2 again, and I started off from a distance using my arrows. Tactics, and then my powerful bow was kind of doing the job, but these fuckers are quick, man, and I killed the minions first, so I thought it was smooth sailing from here. Well yeah, so I thought, until he hit me with the dark blood projectile thingamajig, and dang, that hurt, and it blinded me, and I think it slowed me down as well, but then he had like no HP left, so ha! I killed him. I kill you! I felt really accomplished, but I was stuck because it was daytime now, so I couldn't fly back to my base. I decided to take on one more Baron, strategically this time from a tree again, and I fell off the tree because I think it hit me through the tree or something. And it was a shambles, but I survived and I got bored of waiting for nighttime. So I placed my coffin and I went to sleep. Day 86, I flew home and I killed a few hunters near my base because I needed a few more human hearts to level up again. Then morning came and I went to sleep, because I needed it to be nighttime so that I could use the altar to level up again. But that wasn't the only thing. The structure of the Altar of Infusion was now too weak for the next level, so my new goal was building more pillars to strengthen the altar. Spent the whole day 87 getting the materials ready for the altar. So I needed iron blocks and stone brick pillars and iron pillar tops, I believe. That's what they're called. Now the structure was leveled up and it looked piff, but it had to be night so I could use it. But I realized I freaked up again because I didn't need gold yet. I got ahead of myself. I needed iron to be everywhere on the altar instead of mixing it up. So that was for the next phase. I had to fix this. Luckily, I had enough iron blocks. So then it was complete and lol. I leveled up again. Building the new pillars themselves took me to a little bit into day 88. I was now level 8 vampire and I unlocked my dark blood projectile power. So I could now show those vampire barons who's boss and dark projectile them back. I was now missing 10 more human hearts to level up again. So I decided to venture out a little bit further and look for some more vampire hunters as well as uncover more of the map. Without protecting a random vampire village from vampire hunters, traded a little bit of coal with some vampire villagers because I had it on me, so why not? Collected blood from some animals till nightfall. And then, day 89, that same village got raided by hunters. No. That's my village, man. It wasn't an easy raid though. I also killed some of my vampire counterparts because I was hoping they would drop some vampire books for my later leveling purposes. They didn't. Yeah, I basically spent the whole day killing hunters for hearts and I was determined to collect as many as I could. Daytime made it more difficult to fight them, so I made a coffin and I went to sleep. Day 90 and 91, I proceeded to go through hunter campsites like crazy, killing anyone I'd lay eyes upon. Slept through the day both times because nighttime is just better for me to fight, and by the middle of day 92 I had enough human hearts, so I made my way to the vampire forest to try and kill level 3 Baron. It was going well. It was going so well until I forgot to drink blood and I got downed, but I now had the power to resurrect, so I didn't lose all my levels the first time I die, of course, if I managed to escape and heal. So I swiftly ran away, not as swiftly as I hoped. Why don't I have a shield, man? Damn. So I lost bare levels, okay, whatever. I spawned quite nearby thanks to my coffin planning skills, so that's fine. Rule number 1 of Minecraft, before a big fight, plan like you're going to die. As I fumbled with my gear, he poontanged me yet again so hard I thought I would die. He was fast, man. I was running, but I recovered everything. And I finally got him, and I got my pure blood level 3, and oh my god, I had everything I needed now. So I was like, I'm ready to get out of here. But I couldn't sleep through the day because I was in the vampire forest, which is permanently night, technically. So I had to walk to the village, try to avoid the iron golem, and sleep in my coffin. Day 93, I spent flying around and exploring more of the map and killing vampire hunters, naturally. Day 94, I found a new village that was unclaimed, so I raided it. Every village I found, I would rob of its hay bales because I needed the wheat for trading, so sorry, not sorry. And then something revolutionary happened. I found a villager that trades emeralds for human hearts. And as you know, I was kind of balling on emeralds now. So, as leveling becomes more and more grindy, this was a total game changer for me. So I just had to trap and secure him in a house, just in case, and marked him on the map so that I wouldn't lose him again. Spent the rest of the day securing all the other villages, just in case I needed them later, and then I went to sleep. Day 95, I went all the way home, just to level up. But level 9 vampire, look at me. This time I got a really useless skill because I don't have a vampire tool yet, which is like a special vamp sword. But all things come with time. And wait, that is not all. I looted spare pure blood and hearts so I could level up again straight away. So boom! Now I was level 10 and I unlocked a skill called Freeze, which works on multiple nearby enemies and is super OP, so I felt good. I also completed that whole skill branch, so I don't even know what's next. End of day 95 and the whole day 96 I spent sucking blood and preparing my base for the huge move. I made a couple of iron backpacks so that I could fit all my stuff in there for the big move. Silk touched my entire enchanting setup. I took with me my trusty blood grinder so I could use it in a new house. I chucked all my junk and my valuables into my iron backpacks. I got my altar and the pillars. Now I was ready to go. Somewhere near a vampire forest, maybe. Finally at nighttime, I could set out to find my new home. I was hoping to find a vampire forest nearer to the villager that trades human hearts for emeralds, and hope to find a nice settling ground. And jackpot, I found a vampire forest right one biome over from the village actually. So I was really excited. Naturally I went to celebrate and I went to kill a vampire baron level 3 because that's what I needed right now. And yes, maybe I was cocky, but this time it went really smooth. I absolutely obliterated him. I returned to the village and I started setting up base. This was gonna be where I settle for good. I really enjoyed the look of the vampire soil, so I decided to use that in combination with dark oak wood and vampire wood, which I didn't have yet, but it was a nice blood crimson color. So that was gonna be the color palette for my vampire mansion. I was running out of time and I wanted to level up as many times as I could because the 100 days was gonna finish. But my altar was not ready again because I had to change all the iron blocks into gold blocks for the next vampire level. So that was also a thing. I had to go mining. So off I went into the cave looking for gold, picked up some iron, a few emeralds, and I killed a few higher level vampires, but no vampire books this time. I had to wait for all my gold to smelt. The altar was almost complete. I just needed 2 more gold blocks. So I decided to build a base for my house and dump all my belongings there so that if I died I wouldn't lose all of it. And my gold and iron was all smelted so I could just go get that and then finish my altar. Now I was desperate for human hearts and vampire books. I tried to find villages that trade the vampire books, but to no avail. Bear in mind I only had 1 day left. Just a quick one. If you got this far, please subscribe for more 100 days videos. It really helps me out a lot, and only 14% of people who watch my content have subscribed. We are also almost at 100, and I couldn't be more grateful. This video took a really long time to make, so leave a like if you think I did a good job. Let's get back. So day 99, I frantically flew back to my humble beginnings because that is where I knew there was my diamond mine where the higher level vampires always spawned, so I could always get some vampire books. That was like my spot, my secret spot, secret weapon. Backtrack. Before I left, I traded with the villager for some human hearts as well. On the way to the old house, I went to the vampire forest nearby just to get some pure blood, level 3 and 4. And by chance, I ran into 2 barons already fighting each other in the water. So that was a perfect opportunity for me. So I just went for it and I got both of the pure bloods. I felt so lucky. So I made my way to get more vampire books. On the way there, I got distracted again by my house because I realized my armor was almost broken. So I decided to repair it before I went fighting all those vampires. I bit the bullet and I made myself some booties and a helmet as well, because my first ones broke already. And I waited and I wandered around in the cave while killing the vampires until one of them finally dropped a book. But I wasn't gonna stop there because I wanted to level up more and I had loads of hearts. So I would just loot some materials in between to wait for new ones to come, because I knew if I decided to do 200 days, I would need more stuff. I also got slain by a spider 2 times in a row. But you know what? That's not important. And then Powerful Bill gave me my next vampire book, so I could make my way home. So I was ready to level up twice. I just needed to return to my base. Quick time. And then, out of nowhere, I came across this weird-ass skeleton that had diamond armor. So I decided to fight him so I could maybe loot his diamond armor. And I think he had netherite pants on, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I fought him for ages and ages and he didn't drop a thing. Not a single thing. What a piss take. Day 100. Speedy return to the base, and then I leveled myself up twice more and I locked 2 more skills. I got the Summon Bat skill and the Temporary Sunscreen skill, which protects me from the sun. So that's nice. And I still had the rest of the day 100 so I could pimp out my house a little bit more and grind up all the meat I've collected. So that's it for the 100 days of Minecraft vampirism. I hope you enjoyed this just as much as I did. This was JulesEatsCats, and I'll see you in the next one.